There are 5 times that you can really maximize the benefit of taking in collagen. Now, collagen protein is not just about connective tissue. It's about everything, okay? I want you to think of collagen as scaffolding within your body, okay? And you've got this nice, beautiful scaffolding that is holding up so much, okay? But as we get older, the bolts on the scaffolding start to get loose and become a little bit more fragmented, okay? So this scaffolding that was nice and strong and sturdy has now become wobbly, okay? And if we lose that scaffolding, we lose so much, okay? Think about it. We have joints, we have connective tissue, we have hair, we have skin, we have even some scaffolding that literally supports muscle bellies, like our actual muscle. So it becomes very important. Okay, let's jump right in. And as we go along, we're gonna kind of increase in sort of severity, like the most important times sort of increasing, okay? Now, the first time that I would recommend is right before your workout, or about an hour before your workout. Now, this sounds kind of crazy because a lot of times I talk about going into a workout on an empty stomach, but with collagen, it's a little bit of an exception to the rule. And if we look at a paper that was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, it demonstrated that when you consume collagen prior to a workout, you actually increase the collagen synthesis in the body. What does that mean? Well, I want you to think of like a ligament or a tendon or connective tissue. There's no real blood supply there. So it acts as somewhat of a sponge. So if you were to jump rope and you were to bounce that Achilles tendon in the back of your heel, well, that's going to act like a sponge, and it's actually going to soak up a little bit more of the collagen. And this study that was published in American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated this. Subjects that had 15 grams of collagen prior to a workout, 1 hour before a workout, had 2 times as much collagen synthesis. They had more of this pro-collagen peptide 1. So very, very cool stuff. So what does this look like for you? Well, about an hour before your workout, consider having 15 or 20 grams of unflavored basic collagen with no extra sweeteners or anything like that. Mix it with your coffee, something as simple as that. So by sort of priming the tissue with your workout, you can soak that collagen up. Now, the more plyometric a workout, the more benefit you're going to get from it. So this example with this study used jump rope because that's a lot of plyometric, a lot of bouncing where those tendons are like kind of squishing and then relaxing, right? So with that, you want to look at things like maybe things where you're going to be bouncing a little bit, running, maybe some jumping, things like that that are good for your connective tissue to begin with. Now let's move into this next one, which is definitely important because if our sleep starts to suffer, everything else sort of falls apart, okay? Taking in collagen before you go to bed can massively improve your sleep. And it's because the primary constituent, or I shouldn't say the primary, but a huge constituent of collagen is something called glycine. Now, there's a study published in Sleep and Biological Rhythms that found that just 3 grams of glycine before bed improved sleep quite significantly. And it does so because it improves vasodilation to specific regions of the brain. Okay, well, this is great. What does that look like for you? A practical use for you would be maybe 2 hours or so before bed, have 10 to 20 grams of, once again, unflavored collagen. What I'll do is I'll mix it in with some yogurt. I like to get a little bit of protein a couple hours before bed because it stabilizes my glucose. It seems to help me sleep. So if I take collagen, I can mix it in with yogurt. It makes it very easy. I'm not adding any carbs. I'm just adding that collagen that I need that might help me sleep and also help restore my joints, my hair, my skin. Okay, but the cool thing is there was another study that also found that taking in collagen or glycine if you've been sleep deprived, can actually help you feel more awake. They found that it increases specific neuropeptides and also increases that vasodilation, that increase in blood flow to what's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. That's a portion of the brain that's very important and becomes quite suppressed in terms of activity when we're sleep deprived. So what does that look like? Well, if you didn't sleep well, try adding a little bit of extra collagen to your meals. So you get up in the morning, you have your breakfast, maybe have 5 grams of collagen. See what happens. It's such an inexpensive supplement and such an inexpensive protein to add in, it makes a big difference. The one that I've been using for about a year now is called BUBS. I like it because it mixes absolutely seamlessly, but there's nothing weird in it. It's unflavored, it's unsweetened, it's pure 20 grams of grass-fed grass-finished collagen peptides. I've never seen a collagen that mixes in cold water so good. And it's all sourced from bovine out of Uruguay, out of southern Brazil, thousands of miles away from the Amazon, truly grass-fed and grass-finished. So when you're looking at a collagen, you have to look at the amount of actual collagen peptides, because you can find a collagen that's out there on the market that's going to have a minuscule amount of peptides, even though they're calling it X amount of collagen protein. There's a lot of kind of tomfoolery going on with all of that. So you have to be careful. But BUBS is awesome because it's near and dear to me. You know, I do a lot of work with the Department of Defense, with the US Special Forces, and this particular brand is circled around a guy named Glenn Bub Doherty. Now, you may know the name if you ever saw the movie 13 Hours. Okay, he passed away in Libya during the whole Benghazi thing. Well, this entire brand donates 10% of all the profits to charity in his honor, which is great because BUBS' entire ethos was about doing good and feeling great, like feeling alive, feeling just awesome, but doing good things with your awesomeness, okay? Big part of the whole entire BUBS mission is to die young as late as possible, if that makes sense. Feel good, feel youthful, and be able to push that youthfulness on as long as you can. So I put a link down below that'll save you 20% off. You use that code Thomas20, saves you 20% off your entire purchase. They have little single serve packets that are easy when you travel. They have a bag, they have a tub, they make it easy, but there's no fluff, and that's what I love about it. So that link is down below in the description. This next one is very, very important because we're talking about digestion. When we get older, we start noticing that certain foods bloat us more. We start noticing that we become more sensitive to different foods. And a lot of times we find ourselves going down this narrow path of kind of like narrowing what we eat. And although that makes a lot of sense, sometimes we have to reverse engineer what's actually happening in our body a little bit. And as we get older, the junctions within our gut become weaker. You've probably heard of people talk about a leaky gut before. Okay, but this is a very important thing because the bloating that occurs within our gut can absolutely stem from a leaky gut to begin with. In fact, they've found that a lot of the cases of bloating are a result of IBS, which is a result of the leaky gut. Okay, so collagen has 3 primary proteins in it that are very, very good for a leaky gut. Okay, we have, or aminos I should say, glutamine, which is actually going to help regulate the junctions of the gut, to bring those kind of like junctions and seal our gut a little bit better. Then we have glycine, which is very important for the digestive tissues themselves, to actually increase the integrity of them. And then we have proline, which is really like this sealing and healing amino that comes in and sort of seals everything. Okay, think about it. If you have these junctions in your gut that are broken, then they're going to become disrupted. So what is the answer though? When do you take collagen for maximum gut benefit? You want to take it on an empty stomach, and I recommend people take it at the end of a fast. Because at the end of a fast, your gut lining is already broken down a little bit because that just happens during a fast. So you're at the optimal time to soak up a little bit more of that collagen and repair. I also don't want you going at the end of a fast and just eating a bunch of food all willy-nilly. If you preface it with a little bit of bone broth or a little bit of collagen, it's going to help kind of heal the gut a little bit first before that food comes in. So it makes it very seamless. You don't even need to have a lot at this point in time. 5-10 grams of collagen peptides will do the trick. There's a cool study published in JMIR that took a look at people supplementing 20 grams of collagen for 8 weeks, found that 93% of subjects saw a massive improvement in their bloating when they added collagen in after 8 weeks. So there's definitely something going on there. We have to think about the inflammation that comes as a result directly in the gut and outside of the gut. And this next one, we're starting to get increasingly more important, okay? Because as we age, we start losing our glucose tolerance a little bit, meaning we're unable to process carbohydrates as well. We're at higher risk of type 2 diabetes, higher risk of insulin resistance. Turns out that collagen with a meal, okay, it's so universal. A little bit of collagen with a meal, 5 grams with a meal, can actually support glucose modulation. Okay, there was an interesting study published in Journal in Food Science and Technology that found that when subjects added collagen along with their meals, it increased their glucose tolerance, so it improved their glucose levels overall, but also decreased the amount of oxidative stress that came along with eating that meal. Every time we eat, we have a little bit of waste, this oxidative stress. It's like exhaust. And as we get older, we create more exhaust and less ability to deal with that exhaust. So if we can increase the expression of things that neutralize that exhaust, we're in a good spot. Turns out that collagen peptides play a big role with that. Now, there's another study that also showed that it can increase something called AMPK in the liver. And what this means is that it possibly is improving fatty acid oxidation, helping us utilize fat and burn through that fat and be able to process sugar and carbohydrates better. So this is like a win-win, especially as we get older. When you're young and you can get away with eating more things, but as you get older, you have to be paying closer attention, right? Now, the most important one, okay, the one that we really needed to save for last, isn't a specific time at all. It's about increasing the amount progressively as we get older. After the age of 35, roughly every 5 years, you should probably increase the amount of collagen peptides that you take in by about 2.5 grams or so. Okay, so by the time that you're in your 60s, you might be taking 40 grams, 50 grams of collagen in per day. Why is this so important? And again, you don't have to get it from a supplement form. If you want to be, consuming bone marrow, if you want to be actually consuming some of the visceral tissue of meat, that's a great way to get that gelatin, that collagen in too. Don't get me wrong, I'm not just trying to push a supplement. I think it's very important. But as we get older, collagen declines. It breaks down, it loosens. And what does this look like? It looks like saggy skin, it looks like wrinkles, it looks like hair falling out. All these things we recognize, but it also looks like muscle mass. We don't realize that that scaffolding supports our muscle too. There was a cool study published in British Journal Nutrition that found that aging individuals, when they consumed collagen, they had more muscle. They retained more muscle. They also speculated that it had to do with the glycine and the arginine in collagen helping to form creatine to allow the muscles to be functioning better. So it started being suggested that as we get north of 40, we might want to be looking at like 40 grams of collagen per day, which seems like a lot, but we have to counteract the fact that we are starting to decrease and break down our collagen. And we always think about protein, we think about muscle building, but we don't think about what is repairing our connective tissue. If our joints hurt, we're not going to get to the gym in the first place. So to kind of recap and paint a big picture for you, you don't need to be taking this stuff at every single one of these times. But if you know when to take it, it's better than just saying, I'm going to get up in the morning and take my collagen because it's my ritual. It is a timing system and it makes a lot of sense. So take it prior to workouts where you're going to be bouncing a little bit. Take it before bed or on nights that you're really need to sleep well, or if you didn't sleep well, take it then. Okay, take it at the end of a fast on an empty stomach. Combine it with your meals and slowly start increasing the dose as you get older. As always, I'll see you tomorrow, and don't forget to check out BUBS down below in the description.